Hello, and welcome back to another segment in excerpts from a spiritual ascension. So today is kind of a difficult topic in one way, but also in another way, it gives me what's the right word? I am grateful to be able to share my experience with you as far as the death of my son. He was 19 years old and he was a sophomore in college. And the reason for this video is to tell you that if you are on this journey, um, there's a possibility that someone very close to you will pass away probably right around before your awakening. And he passed in 2007, November 10th, 2007. And I always knew there was something magical about him. Um, he was born on 7/7, 1988, so 7/7/88. He weighed 7 pounds, 7 ounces. Um, when I was pregnant with him, someone had said something is going to happen to him. And I was so afraid because at that time, I didn't have anything to do with spirituality, didn't understand. Um, I didn't know what that meant. And I was pregnant. So for someone to tell you something like that was very, worrisome. Um, when he's born, he had jaundice. And um, when he was 10 months, he got a really high fever of 106.4. And they just classified as what did they say? It was just I forget what they called it, but it wasn't anything like serious. And I was in the hospital with him for 5 days. Um, but a beautiful soul, but he had a lot of trauma within him, which it kind of changed after he had that high fever. Beautiful baby, very easygoing. But after that fever, he seemed to kind of have tantrums, really bad tantrums after that. But again, just there was something very different about him. Um, 2007, he had gone off to college in Philadelphia and came back to visit some of his friends and was killed in a car accident by a drunk driver. Um, I've told the story over and over again, so it's easier for me to say what has happened to him. But also, I wrote down some points as far as what I wanted to speak to you about. And the way I was raised in the religion that I was raised up in was that when we die, we just no longer exist. There were just dirt, dust, nothing. There's no afterlife. There's no going to heaven, no going to hell. There's no purgatory, whatever else other religions believe. I just, he was ceased to exist. Okay. Um, started coming into my spirituality, my first awakening in 2012. And in 2014, I came in contact with my first psychic medium who brought him forward to me. And I was astonished. Like I walked out of her store and was, my eyes were open. Everything changed at that point because like he was still alive and my father had passed away a couple of years before that. And then she had also brought my father through and things she knew about both of them that no one knew. And I'm like, what is going on here? And to be able to view the world and our existence in a whole different way than I had been raised for 40 something years believing was something totally new to me and unexpected. And I was now able to take this awakening to there being another side of the veil, um, and kind of help me along. Now, one of the points was learning that he was also him and my father, and also my grandparents, all four of my grandparents came through to me before I started my ascension journey. And they were the ones that prepared me for this journey. They kept saying, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And I had no idea what they were talking about or anything. Um, but everything that they said has come true so far. It's like totally amazing. Um, so just knowing that whoever it is that may pass away just before your awakening, or if you look back, whoever that person, they're probably going to play a very big part in your journey. And also, you may consider them as one of your guides. Okay. Um, what else did I want to say? Sometimes I have to write things down because I'll totally forget. So just understanding too this whole other side, um, to who we are, that we are souls who continue one life after another life after another life, and that we never cease to exist. And that was all new for me. Okay. Um, these are things, like I always say, do your research that you're going to learn more about as continue your journey and really start to understand more about this deeply. I had talked about this person probably going to be one of your guide. And another reason too is you probably, if you've looked at my information, my bio, you see that I work with people who have lost loved ones, especially children. Um, the hardest thing, I always say that no one wants to be a part of the club that I belong to and many others belong to, having the loss of a child. And it's something many people just, it's something I see, used to see parents on TV, on the news, losing a child and their reaction. And you can't feel that unless you've gone through it. We always say, we're supposed to go before our children go. So I believe there was a reason for him coming through me, being born, in order for him to guide me through this journey. Okay. And him also acting as a kind of like a reference point um, for my initial awakening. Okay. Um, Another thing is, I now view death differently. When you are on this journey, you have connected to the divine. You're able to understand why our souls go through the challenges that we go through. And um, that it's nothing, on the other side, there's no pain. And it's just our soul getting ready for the next journey into the next body. I no longer fear death. And of course, most of my life, I feared dying. And because, especially with my thinking of that there was no existence after death. people who may believe in heaven and hell, and there may be that thing of, I don't know which way I'm going, the fear of having, maybe going to hell, there's no longer, when you understand true spirituality and what our soul is here for, and that our soul continues to exist, but it prepares itself for the next lifetime, and within it carries all the previous lifetimes, the knowledge and wisdom of those lifetimes within it. um, there is no fear anymore. So there's almost a wanting to connect with the divine in such a way that when it's time for me to go, it's time. There's no worrying um, anymore. There's just a different way of looking at death. That's why sometimes when I have to describe my son's passing to others, it's hard for them to understand how I can talk about this so easily. But I understand that he was a soul just having a life, and I was blessed to have him come through me. And now he's also one of my guides, that has helped me through many of the challenges that I've gone through on my ascension journey, and has prepared me for that, along with my father, and all four of my grandparents came through. It was really amazing. Um, so I'm just going to leave it there. I do want to talk more about in another video about, so much death, but our soul, and what it is on the other side, the things that we go through and the reasons why, and some of the beliefs that are out there. So I'll do that in another video, not to make this one too long. But again, thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to share my story. And if you would like to spend any time with me, the link is below. To book time. And also, I've done several courses on the Ascension journey, and you can find that link below also. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.